It's at 7, begins at 6:45. The event begins at 6:45, but the show begins at 7. We have a couple of really great recording artists, American Idol former contestant, for major Christian recording artist Danny Gorky. Also, Colton Dixon will be performing live. Bring your friends, bring your family. It's a powerful, powerful night. It is a time for us to bring our families together, talk about where we've been, where we are, and where we can move forward, and how we do it as one. The power of one. You might want to bring a notebook, because I'm going to give you a list of things to do. People ask me all the time, what do we do? What do we do? I'm going to give you that list Saturday night. Please join us. It is going to be really a great event. David Barton's going to be there. We're going to be sharing history, showing you some of the things that are in the vault, and we'll share with you the vision for America and artifacts that have never been seen before in public. So go to mercury1.org or m1nextchapter.com and get your tickets. Limited amount. Hurry, get your tickets now. It is happening this Saturday. I invite you to come, mercury1.org or m1nextchapter.com. Do it now. All right. We have Stephen Moore on with us in just a second. I am so frustrated with the way the media is covering this economy. They're doing everything they can to make President Biden look like he's doing a good job on the economy, and they're grossly misleading people. You should be preparing.
Yeah, I'm interested to hear what Stephen Moore has to say about this, because he is usually a guy that can talk us off the ledge a little, right? You know, he has a little more optimism than we might at times.
Yeah.
And I'm interested to hear what he thinks about the supply chain. Like, are we going to have products in our stores? Or, you know, right now it seems like there's a lot of indications that there might be some trouble with that coming up.
Yeah, but if you could swim out to the cargo ships, you could get that product you've been waiting for. It's right there.
Maybe we can borrow the boats from the people who are harassing Joe Manchin.
Oh, that would be great.
There we go.
What, don't they care about America?
No.
Back in just a minute.
Let's talk about your dog.
Let's go, Brandon. I'm sorry. Welcome to the Glenn Beck program. By the way, you can get your T-shirt, Let's Go Brandon T-shirt. You know, if you're in the know, you know who Brandon really is and how we all really feel. You can get that at shop.blazemedia.com. Anyway, we want to talk a little bit about the economy. Stephen Moore usually can talk me off the ledge. Sometimes I talk him onto the ledge. He is a renowned economist. He has worked for the former administration as an advisor. He is now the co-founder of the Committee to Unleash Prosperity. I think we're going in the opposite direction. I want to talk to him about the economy, the supply chain issues, and the debt ceiling and the $3.5 trillion reconciliation bill. What's coming our way? Stephen Moore coming up in just a couple of minutes.
The Glenn Beck program.
All right, but first, let's talk about relief, about the economy, the supply chain, the reconciliation bill, the debt ceiling. Hey, Stephen, how are you?
Hey, Glenn, I'm good. I'm in a good mood.
Yeah, are you?
I learned yesterday that all of this $5 trillion spending bill, it's free. It's not going to cost a penny.
Yeah.
Not one nickel.
Yeah.
Free.
That puts you in a good mood, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wouldn't it be wonderful if life was that great? All we had to do is just print all this money and it would be free. Every time Joe Biden says that, by the way, and Nancy Pelosi says it, the support for the bill goes down.
It kills me. I was doing an interview the other day. I think it was with Megyn Kelly, and she said, but a lot of people say that this thinking, this new modern monetary theory, really kind of dates people and shows that, no, you're living in the past. You don't have to do that. And I said, you don't think some king back in the 1200s had the idea of, let's just print it. We don't need it. I mean, come on.
Yeah. Well, this is a great point you're making. So, you and I have known each other a long, long time. And for the last 30 years or so of my life, I've battled the Keynesians. And the Keynesians believed this, back to the 1930s, that, what you did with fiscal policy, government spending and tax policy is when you had a depression or you had a war or you had some kind of crisis like COVID, that you would run up government borrowing. And then the idea of Keynesian economics was then when the economy improved, you would start to, pay that debt down. Mm-hmm. And it was sort of a way of smooth. And that was the theory. And I never believed in the theory. I thought it was just an excuse to spend money. But the point is, so now we are in a recovery. I mean, the economy is actually doing well. We have 10 million open jobs today. There are jobs out there for anybody who wants them. There's no shortage of jobs. And yet the government the left wants to borrow, 8, 10, $12 trillion. Now, from an economic point of view, that makes absolutely no sense. It's anti-Keynesian, right? And we should be actually paying down our debt right now, not increasing the debt in a recovery. And so now they've come up with this new idea that, as you just said, it's called modern monetary theory. And all modern monetary theory is the idea that the government can spend and spend and borrow. And because we are the world reserve currency, we can do this at no cost. Now, that is, as you said, the kings of the Middle Ages thought of this idea.
Correct.
Every time it's ever been tried, it has led to the decline of empires. I mean, you go back to the Greek Empire, the Roman Empire, the British Empire, the great empires and the one constant is that mostly these empires have been destroyed from within, not from without, and debt and over government spending have been, the trigger for the decline of empires. Now, I hope that doesn't happen in the United States, but come on, we're going to double our national debt over the next 12 years, and that's supposed to be good for our economy?
Well, the idea here and what we're leaving out is the really fun part of modern monetary theory. The reason why they say that it's not going to calm the beast, man, calm the beast. The reason why I'd say it's not going to lead to inflation is because we can. The government will control what people can buy and not buy. So if milk all of a sudden starts to become, too high of a price, they'll quash that price by making sure that the milkmaids are milking more cows or whatever it is. So it requires incredible amounts of government to be able to quash the inflation they say will never happen.
Well, people should be paying attention right now to what's happening. I don't know if you've been paying attention, Glenn, to what's happening in Britain right now. But they're paying like $7-8 a gallon for gasoline right now.
Yep.
They have they have such supply chain problems that people are literally taking water bottles and they're filling up with gasoline for their cars, and they're hoarding it. And doesn't this remind you of what happened in the 1970s when we had gas lines? And it's because the energy supplies have been really restricted. And, gee, what country is restricting their energy supply? Oh, yeah, the United States. We're the number one producer of oil and gas and coal, and we've got a dingbat president who's saying, let's stop producing oil, gas, and coal. This is, even if you believe that we had to stop using fossil fuels, the idea of just turning off the spigots now is really, really dangerous.
Very dangerous.
I worry that that's coming to the United States, that you're going to start seeing higher and higher gas prices. We're not developing new wells in this country right now, and we have the Permian Basin in Texas. I think you're in Texas. That has more oil than Saudi Arabia has. For Texas.
I know. I will tell you, Stephen, I think that it is possible in the next 18 months that we see $6, $7 a gallon gasoline here in America if we don't change course. Nobody in the Middle East is listening to us anymore and doing us favors, and we're not producing anything. And quite honestly, the green people would love gasoline to be that high.
They would. They want it. And incidentally, there's an amazing fact for you, Glenn, that really shows what can happen when you put America first. In January of 2021, January of this past year, do you know how much oil – this was Donald Trump's last month in office. Do you know how much oil we imported from Saudi Arabia?
No.
Zero. that was the first time in my lifetime we were actually not importing oil from other countries. Now, so Biden comes in, he reverses that, and now we're totally. I mean, OPEC. Who's the big winner in everything that Biden is doing right now? Well, let's see: the Saudi oil sheiks, OPEC, Vladimir Putin, and China.
Yep.
I mean, we're playing right into their hands.
Okay, so let's talk about the supply chain here. I don't think people understand. Everybody has experienced going into some store and wanting something and them saying we don't have any more, and I can't tell you when it's going to come back in. But I've been recommending that people do their Christmas shopping right now.
Yep.
You agree with that?
There are supply chain problems. It's all being driven by government. People ask me, why are we having problems? I'll give you one example. So I'm actually pretty close to Fred Smith, who's the CEO of FedEx. Great guy, one of the great entrepreneurs in American history. And he is probably the CEO of a company that's one of the 25 largest companies in the world. He was telling me the other day that FedEx has 20,000 job openings. 20,000 job openings. Truckers, mechanics, people working in the warehouses, people working in delivery, and FedEx is a high-paying, employer. They pay, their truckers make $80,000, $90,000, $100,000 a year. They can't fill the jobs. You know why, Glenn? Because the government is paying people to stay unemployed. With all of these benefits, and one of the worst features of what Biden wants to do is they are eviscerating all of the work requirements that we put under Bill Clinton, who was a Democrat. We put in welfare reform that basically said we're going to have a safety net, but you got to work or get training or get schooling or get skills. They're getting rid of all of those things, and you've got people literally in many states now. You've got a couple that's unemployed with all the benefits, the food benefits, the rental assistance, the cash payments. You can make $100,000 a year and not work a single hour.
Jeez, Stephen. I heard yesterday the president said that it's the Republicans that are trying to destroy the economy. The Republicans won't raise the debt ceiling. That's not true. The Republicans aren't going to do it because the Democrats could do it just with 50 votes if they didn't want the reconciliation package as well of $3.5 trillion. So it is their the recklessness of the $3.5 trillion bill that is actually going to put us into default. Who's going to blink first and tell me the ramifications of it?
So let me just correct you on one thing you said, Glenn. It is not a $3.5 trillion spending bill. They're using phony accounting. They're using fake bookkeeping. It's really $5 trillion. The Wall Street Journal reported on that a few days ago, that if you use, real accounting, it's $5 trillion. So that's point number one. Point number, I'm going to use an analogy. Okay, let's say that Glenn Beck is you've had some tough times and you took out a bunch of loans and now you're having a hard time paying back the loans, and so you have to go to the bank and say, hey, look, I need another loan. I've got some tough times here. I'm on the road to bankruptcy, and I want a loan. And can you increase my credit card limit? And the bank is going to say, well, what's your plan? What's your plan for getting out of debt, Glenn Beck? If you got this debt, how you want us to extend your credit card limit and you want a loan, we want to see your plan for getting out of debt. And then it would be analogous to then you're saying that the reason I'm bankrupt is because that bank, they won't give me the loan. And this is exactly what Republicans are doing. They're saying, we're not going to give you an increase in the credit card limit when you want to go out there and borrow $7 trillion more money.
Correct.
I mean, that's insanity, right? And so the Democrats are saying the reason we face a financial crisis is because the Republicans won't raise the debt ceiling. No, the reason we're facing a debt crisis is because you morons want to go out and borrow more money. And so, and one other point about this, because I've been in this game a long time. The reason the debt ceiling is important,
Hello, did we lose him?
Seems like we did.
We lost him. Let me take get him back on the phone. We'll take a 1 minute break here real quick.
They got to him.
It's Facebook. Facebook got to him. Facebook got to them.
That could be it. It's an interesting process to watch because the Democrats could do this. Not only could they do it, they could have done it a long time ago. Just pass this with 50 votes.
Yeah.
They're trying to pressure Republicans into going along with their giant bills and all the things that they want. Well, we're past all those windows now because the Democrats have done a terrible job, even though they run every aspect of this government. And even though that's true, every news article blames the Republicans for blocking. It's all, the Republicans won't do this. The Republicans won't go along. We're facing financial catastrophe. The Republicans won't budge. Well, they don't have any power.
This is why everybody needs to get onto Facebook and Twitter and whatever your social media is today, and just post. What power do the Republicans have to stop the debt ceiling from being raised? They have no power. If the Democrats want to do it, they have to give up their, as Stephen Moore called it, $5 trillion spending package. But they can vote to raise the debt ceiling.
They could also put it in the $5 trillion spending package. In theory, they could do that. It could be in that bill. It could have been in the $1.9 trillion bill they already passed through reconciliation. They just didn't put it in there. And the traditional way that this gets handled is the power that is in the side of whatever party has power at that point. Usually passes this bill and has to take the whatever hit there is, right, associated with saying you were the ones that voted for the debt ceiling. You see it in every political ads every single season. They voted to raise the debt ceiling 12 times, right? It's a little bit of a back and forth. Both sides do it to each other. It's been an understood part of this game for a very long time. And Democrats are just like, well, now we want you to do it for us. Even though you're in the minority, we want you to come along and change the rules so we can just pass this and have no problems.
No.
Well, no. Again, they could do this themselves if they just either came to some agreement on their stupid bill or just put it through clean.
All right, we have
won't.
Stephen Moore back. Hi, Stephen.
Hey, sorry about that. I think that Nancy Pelosi disconnected us.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So we were talking about the spending bill and the debt. What does this actually look like if we don't raise the debt ceiling? What happens?
Well, let's just imagine that we didn't raise the debt ceiling before the limit happened. It is not true. It is not true that we would default on our debt. Okay, I want to say that one more time, folks, because you keep hearing the slide. We will not default on our debts. What it means, Glenn, let's assume that, let's say after October 31st, we run out of debt ceiling. And what it means then is the government is legally prohibited from borrowing any more money. Now, money comes in every day, payroll tax money, income tax money to the federal government. What it essentially would mean is the government can only spend what it brings in. What a concept, by the way.
Yeah.
So they can't borrow, but they can spend as the tax dollars come in. And so that would mean that we could pay Social Security, we could pay, for Medicare, we could pay for the national defense, but we'd have to prioritize saying, you know what, Department of Education, you're going to have to shut down for a few weeks. Would that be a disaster? Department of Labor, you're going to have to, shut down. No more foreign aid for a while.
Gosh, I think this sounds like a dream come true.
Exactly. So, you want a balanced budget? I know how we can get a balanced budget. Don't raise the debt ceiling. It legally requires it. Now, look, would I recommend that? No. But I'm saying it's not the end of the world. Do you notice how every time everything is always the end of the world?
Yes.
Oh, my God, we're going to. Now, what is the end of the world, or what is extraordinarily dangerous, is the idea we keep staying on this path we're on and borrowing and borrowing and borrowing and buy more and more money. Now, the one thing that Joe Biden said that is true is both parties are responsible for this debt. No question about it. Both parties are responsible. But they're taking a debt that's $22 trillion, and they want to raise it by another $10, $15 trillion. And I think the Republicans should say, hell no, you broke it. You're the ones who want this massive spending bill. We're against it. By the way, the Republicans have not been even included in any negotiations. The Democrats haven't even talked to the Republicans in 9 months. Now they come to them hand in hand and saying, "Oh, but you have to vote for the debt ceiling increase." No, I don't. I think Mitch McConnell is absolutely right here.
So, are we going to stand against it, or will the Republicans blink?
No, what's going to happen is, and McConnell is this is the other part of the story that the media refused. The New York Times had a big front page story and the Washington Post about this, saying, "Oh, Republicans are going to bring the government to the brink of disaster." No, what happens is Mitch McConnell saying, "You have the votes to raise the debt ceiling, but you're not going to get any Republican votes." You see, what the Democrats want to do is have everybody hold hands, stand on the cliff, and jump off together. No way.
Yeah, good. Stephen, I don't know if you can hold on, but I'd like to spend some more time with you if you have time. Back in just a minute.
This is the Glenn Beck Program.
All right, if you're over 50, it's time to start considering what benefits you're going to join. Or if you've already joined one, it might be time to rethink and consider joining a different one. Don't worry, I'm not going to leave you hanging. I have one in mind. It's called AMAC, the Association of Mature American Citizens. The group is now over 2 million members strong and growing, and the benefits are amazing. Insurance, discounts, travel benefits, all of that. But more important is their advocacy. AMAC provides everything you're looking for, but goes above and beyond to provide a whole lot more in advocacy for you in Washington because your freedom is important. Their freedom is important. AMAC members played a significant role in stopping the passage of House Resolution 1, the federal takeover for the election legislation. That's from Pelosi. They're doing the same now with Resolution 4, another terrible bill trying to establish federal control of elections again. We have to have a group where we can all stand together and let our voices be heard en masse. AMAC is that group. Stephen Moore joins us again, a renowned economist and also the senior economic contributor to FreedomWorks and co-founder of Committee to Unleash Prosperity. Stephen, you know me. I have been, calling for doomsday for a very long time, and I generally, my predictions are in the right direction, but they, my timing is all off, and they have broken all of the fundamentals to try to make anything, try to make everything good, and I think they're just making it worse and worse as we go on. Let's first talk about the shelves that are going to be empty next year. What is the impact to the American people?
Well, it's interesting, Glenn, because during the break we just took, I got an email from one of my guys, and it says that in China and India, because of energy problems, supply problems, what we were just talking about, guess what energy source China and India, which I think combined have 2.5 billion people, guess what they're turning to?
I would say, I hope that it would be clean energy like nuclear, but it's probably coal.
Coal.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's not. It ain't windmills and it ain't solar panels.
Right.
It's coal, and they're turning to coal because we've turned off the spigots of natural gas and oil. And by the way, I support coal. This country was built on coal, and we have the cleanest coal in the world in the United States, and we're not producing it. So now they're producing dirty coal in India, and China has 1,000 coal burning plants, and they're building hundreds more. Do you think they care about climate change?
Well, President Xi just came out and said he did. That's one of the reasons why they stopped Bitcoin because
we have to take these people for their
absolutely, absolutely.
It's like believing Brezhnev, right? Yeah, right. We believe you. Right. So my point is that the left lives in this fantasy world that they believe. We are realists. they are fantasists. They see the world as they want it to be, not as it is. And so we do have these supply side problems with respect to the blockchain. And it's getting worse, and it's because we are dismantling our free market economy, and we're depending more and more on government. I'll give you another example of something I worry about, the supply of our drugs and vaccines.
Yes.
We've got basically Biden wants to take over the drug industry in the United States, and we're going to run out of this stuff if they do that.
Stephen, a lot of people aren't paying attention to the cars. Everybody's like, oh, man, the new electric cars are coming, and it's all going to be electric by 2030. Yeah, it is literally all going to be. Ferrari will be making all electric cars, no more combustion engines by 2030. All of the car companies are going to this. Where's all that power?
Glenn, let me interrupt you for 1 second.
Yeah.
You know what percentage of cars on the road today are electric vehicles?
3%?
Yeah, you're way too high. About 1.8%.
Wow.
1.8%. Does anybody in the right mind, other than Joe Biden, think that over the next 15 years we're going to go from 1.5% to even 50 or 70%?
All of the new cars, though, every single company has a commitment to be all electric by 2030. It's crazy.
You know what, Glenn? You know what? Guess who they forgot to ask?
Yeah, the people.
Consumers.
Yes.
The people, right? Look, I don't have anything against Teslas. I've driven a Tesla. They're wonderful vehicles. I just don't want the government to pay for them. We've got a policy. You can't make this stuff up. The government is in this $5 trillion spending bill going to pay $7,500 to you if you buy an electric car. Where's that money going to come from? And by the way, who buys Teslas? Do you think poor people living in the inner city buy $100,000 Teslas? This is the biggest giveaway to rich people ever.
So what are we facing with inflation? What is inflation going to be like?
Well, it depends. It depends on the decisions that the reason I was so eager to do your show today, because I know you have such a well-informed and a large audience. Folks, this is not a fire drill, right? We're not making this stuff up. These people running Washington right now are cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs. I mean, they really want to transform America. I mean, Biden said that. He said, we're going to pass this bill because we want to transform America. Well, Glenn, I kind of like America the way it is right now. I don't want to move us towards France and Spain and Italy. They want to move us towards a big government socialist economy. We have to stop them. I'm running a coalition called Save the Country, Kill the Bill, with Larry Kudlow and many others who want to save this country from socialism. Glenn, here's the problem. If they pass this $5 trillion spending bill, for the rest of your and my careers, we're going to spend every day trying to undo the damage they're doing.
In what areas?
Trying to deal with the debt, trying to deal with the massive government takeover of the healthcare system, the massive increases in taxes that are on our businesses and American companies, dealing with they want to reverse. They want to have forced union policies in every state. I don't have a problem with unions, but I do have a problem forcing people to join a union. I mean, how much time have you got, Glenn? I mean, I could talk for a half an hour about how sinister this bill is. It's filled with pork. Did you know they have a provision in this bill that if you're a reporter, you don't have to pay payroll tax. If you're in the media, they want to exempt the payroll tax. And they also want to exempt union dues. They want to make those tax deductible. So they want to give a big sweetheart kiss to the unions and the media. Gee, why do you think they'd want to do those two groups? Oh, yeah, they're the ones who made the election possible.
Unbelievable.
This is just graft. It's graft.
UPS, the USPS, I should say, is launching a banking service.
That's such a great job.
I know. They want the United States Postal Service now to be a place where you can cash your payroll check or your business checks, and you can keep money on deposit with the U.S. Postal Service. This goes right hand in hand with, what's her name, Saul Amarova?
Right. I was just going to mention that.
Yes. Tell
She's
people about her.
She's the one who went to Moscow State University, right?
Right. And born under the Soviet Union.
Yeah, I mean, we sometimes say the leftists are socialists. This woman isn't a socialist. She's a communist. I mean, she prays. She wants the government. Folks, we're not making this up. She wants the government to take over the banking industry in America, and she wants the government to take over the financial industry in America, and so the politicians are going to make all the decisions about who can get a loan. And did you see, by the way, in this bill, this horrible bill, if you have a financial transaction of more than $600,
they changed it to 1,000. Change it to 1,000.
Oh, okay. I'm a little behind.
Was it 1,000 or 10,000? 10,000. They've moved it to.
That's like your pay. That's most people's paychecks, for goodness sake. So your mortgage payment. This is why they want to hire 75,000 new IRS agents.
Correct.
So they can keep track of everything we're doing. And by the way, who do you think they're going to be tracking? Do you think they're going to be tracking liberal Democratic voters? No. We remember the name Lois Lerner. Remember her?
Yep.
She was the one who weaponized the IRS under Obama. What did she do? She went after any conservative group or any conservative donor. Imagine what they can do with 75,000 new agents.
So where is your ray of sunshine that you usually leave me with?
Because I think the American people are revolting against this. I just see it every day that nobody voted for this. Do you think people went to the polls in November, and the people who voted for Biden did so because they wanted $10 trillion of new spending and debt?
No,
I don't recall that. I mean, so there's no mandate for this. Biden says, "Oh, we're going to be like FDR. We're going to have a new deal." When FDR won, he won the biggest landslide election in American history, right? He had a mandate. This president, some people don't even think he won the election. I don't know if he did or didn't, but the point is it was a razor-thin margin. The Democrats have 50 senators out of 100, and they have a 4-seat majority out of 435 in the House. There's no there's no mandate from the people to do this. The American people don't want it. I think we're going to rise up and we're going to defeat this. I really do.
All right, give me the web address where people can join your efforts.
Well, the best thing to do is just get our daily hotline. I hope you get it, Glenn. If you don't, please get in touch with me. But it's we put out a daily hotline every day. You can read it 5 minutes. It just has the 5 or 6 bullet points and the talking points every day about what's going on with this bill. Just go to the Committee to Unleash Prosperity.com and sign up. And by the way, I'm not selling you anything. Unlike Joe Biden, I'm telling you the truth. It's free. It doesn't cost anything. But just sign up for that.
Okay. I will sign up for it. I didn't know about it. I will sign up for it. Thank you so much, Stephen. Appreciate it.
Okay, Glenn.
You bet.
Take care.
Co-founder of Committee to Unleash Prosperity, Stephen Moore. Again, the website is committeetounleashprosperity.com.